So I don't have much for you, but I did want to bring you this as Brooks is trying to find new TV shows to watch and what have you. And I think the way your teenage daughters talk.
Are you just eating on camera?
Well, I'm not on the microphone.
What if you wanted to interject something into his funny story?
I could tell the way he was leading up. I'm going to have at least 30 seconds, and then you have to go and talk.
It's my weekend check, so he doesn't have anything to
Why
interject
are you saying
with.
something to me?
So, he
I
found
need some protein.
He found a show.
good. I got your protein.
I'll stay still, Rob. I'm sorry. He found a show called Bat Wheels, and I thought this is innocent. It's Batman and cars basically molded together, and it's a fine show, whatever. But then I'm discovering that the words we used to think that his daughter said to annoy us is just how kids are going to talk. So
Interjection, what do you mean?
Yeah, I was going to say. His daughter.
kind of like this.
Vehicles to home in on you and come to your aid when you need them.
That is straight fire.
Sounds like there's a lot more to them.
And that's just how they talk. Like,
Okay, so this is Batman's daughter?
no,
Or
this
somebody's
is,
daughter?
He's
okay.
saying my daughter.
Oh,
like,
the way
the
my
way that
daughters
they
talk.
used to
Yeah,
talk,
yeah,
we
okay.
thought was to make us mad, but it's not anymore. It's past the point of irony to where it's
Yep.
actually how they talk now.
No, there's no irony. So
And
yes.
that's not a throwaway line. That's just like they defeated the Joker or whatever, and they saw something cool. That's straight fire. And the Riddler had something for him. They got tricked or something, and then Catwoman says this.
Sorry, Batman. We really dunked the donut on this one.
Yeah, this whole limo thing was pretty sus.
I have no idea.
So, yeah,
Sus,
I mean,
yes.
Brooks is just gonna start saying that's sus, and it's not a joke. It's now
Because
infiltrated.
he's learning, yes.
Yeah.
By,
Yeah, and so I was
It's just
watching it
part
with
of
him, and
society.
then she said, "Yeah, this whole thing was pretty sus," and I'm just like, okay.
so we replaced the N-word in children's programming with, when I grew up.
Well, at the time, that was
Yeah.
was reflecting the way people talked.
And the writers kind of had fun with it because Batman does the whole like, "Oh, I don't know what you said."
Sorry, Batman. We really dunked the donut on this one.
Yeah, this whole limo thing was pretty sus.
I have no idea what you just said.
All right, so
I-
we'll nod to the adults watching
Yeah,
along with
Definitely
them.
written by a
I felt
father.
it. Yeah,
That's
for
great.
sure.
That is good.
So yeah, your kids are just gonna talk like that.
My daughter told me this weekend Google her best friend is Google. I was with her.
Always has an answer.
I was with her.
Because you might be like, I'm not sure.
Yes.
Google
Yeah.
will have something.
I was trying to. Somehow we started talking about the mall. I was like, "Do you know what that is?" And she's like, "I think where there's a bunch of stores." And I was like, "Yeah, that's like the only thing we had when I was a kid." And I started just down this road of.
Do you hate saying the phrase "when I was a kid"? Because then you feel like
No.
that makes me feel extra old.
It
'Cause I'll
should.
do that to my daughters, and it's like, man.
This was the first time it had really come up.
Because I remember
then-
my mom like, "Oh, I had just a black and white TV," and I'm like, "Whatever, who
Right.
cares?"
That's
Now
why
I'm
you're
doing
dumber.
it. Yeah.
We had about 20 minutes, so I started rolling with it. I was just like, "Yeah, we didn't have this, we didn't have that." I was like, "There wasn't internet, you know. I didn't have internet."
There weren't left-handed people and gays.
right. I can tell you what they would have called you a witch, given
Yeah.
everything you got going on, sis. But and I was like, "Yeah, we didn't have internet," and she's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "Well, like the thing that, for example, Google is on." Like that didn't exist, and she could not comprehend that. He's like, "Well, Google's my best friend."
I have difficulty comprehending it myself.
Yeah.
Like, what would we do without it? Like, did we have? I used to do this, when our weekends were full of sporting activities and dance things and whatever, with the girls. Like, what did we used to do? Me and my wife. What probably just lots of sex. I don't know, movies.
Sure.
Doing it.
Right.
But like, what did I use? How would you live without a phone? In the sense that I'm grabbing it right when I wake up.
I can tell you one way, because I just did it, is you.
Oh, yeah.
You figure out how to occupy your time. You still do that, but you also find yourself actually thinking more. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah,
get a piece of
I
paper.
wonder if
and,
everybody should get a month of rehab a year.
I honestly, I don't know if you could do it every year, but even a couple weeks, I think would be good for just about everybody to. You're just forced to think.
I
And
drive.
you write things down. Silent drive.
I drive. I force myself
Yeah.
just to let my mind wander. I've tried to not take the phone into the bathroom, but I can't.
That's a good way to get steps, walking, thinking.
Yes.
But about 2 minutes in, you're like, let me pull out the phone because I got to.
Yeah.
Someone needs me.
I have.
Or I just need to look at the score.
She said something else to me this weekend that was kind of funny. Do you want to do more? Did you?
That's.
I don't have much either, but this never occurred to me before. But she was upset about something else this weekend. We had a peak weekend of why does he do everything I do, and it pisses her off.
Brother?
Yeah, like he wants to sing the songs that he knows that she likes in the car, and she's like, I hate this song now. I'm never listening to it again. Don't play this in front of me. And she would cover her ears, and then he starts crying because he's looking at her like, I'm just trying to do what she thinks is cool, and he doesn't get it.
Yeah, man.
It's awesome.
That's a
That
tough
was-
one.
that was
Why,
me and
why
my-
is he copying me?
That's me
Everything
and my
he
little
does.
sister.
Everything he does, he's copying me. And so she was pissed off about something. She went to her room. I went in there. I'm the smooth over guy. And after she said the first thing she was pissed off about, the second thing, again, had never occurred to me before. She's like, the second thing I'm upset about is everything that I like doesn't really exist, and everything that he likes does. And I said, well, what do you mean? And she's like, mermaids, fairies, magic princesses. None of that is real. And I'm like, well, what about him? And she was like, trash cans, tractors, football.
Oh my gosh.
She's like, all of those things are real. And
That's
I'm like,
cool for her to put that together.
No
I was like, damn.
doubt, dude.
I was scrambling. I was like, the cat walked by. I was like, you love the cat? I was like, right, and I'm here. You love me? I was like, we got donuts this morning.
She's
You
like,
love donuts? But it kind of did hit me of like,
Yeah.
for the female child, the things that they're typically like, hey, why don't you be into these things that are all fantastical? That she was like, that's not real. And she's kind of right. Other than that, my weekend check, I had 2 burgers.
Nice, man.
I think
Where
I'm
from?
entering my burger phase.
Where'd we go?
Had the kids Friday night by myself, so I ordered a to-go from Jake's. Big fan.
Okay.
Big fan. Not a lot of great options for like local stuff over here.
Yeah, one opened up over there in Wiley, and it is packed all the time.
I love it.
I can't go.
Big fan. And then Saturday went to that Hat Creek place. They have a playground, which that's another thing. Kind of think more of those type of places. I would say it's like the Chipotle of burgers. So not fast food, but not a sit down full on. They should all have playgrounds. Like Chipotle should have a playground. It's got to be a low investment for making that place stand out above others for a dinner option. Like
Yeah.
their food is great.
We'll go to Chick-fil-A just to go to the playground.
Of course, and because they know.
There's got to be some liability, though.
I guess.
Yeah, I got a buddy who operates a Chick-fil-A who says it's not like that invites customers that don't really make you as much money as others.
I could see
because
that.
they're coming there and spending 2 hours but spending the same amount as others, and they get their free refills.
That does make sense.
You don't make a lot of money on kids' meals, and yeah, you got to clean that cesspool every hour.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. But it definitely stands out for us as like, all right, we'll go there. But yeah, I think it's interesting when you decide to cut a substantial number of empty calories out of your weekend. You don't mind going back-to-back burger days.
Okay, so that's what this is.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it ain't like before. I was also still doing that before. I would just feel
Okay.
terrible about it. Now I'm like, what's the problem?
But now it's guilt-free.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Of
burger.
course I can have a burger.
Yeah.
I'm
Come
not
11th.
drinking 6 beers.
Yeah, and I ran, so it's like, hey, let's. I think I'm in my burger phase, my burger mode, Blake.
Yeah, and those empty calories led you to Taco Bell at midnight.
which I may or may not remember is on the front porch.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, other than that, my sports teams all did great.
Nah.
It was.
My weekend check is also very small because of just the enormous amount of work that we're putting in over here. But I was at Market Street in Colleyville doing my shopping on Saturday.
You did not.
What?
Fall in love again?
No, this has
Okay.
nothing to do with any cashier.
All right. Or
I'm kind of looking for the older cashiers now, yeah.
Had a familiar cadence.
It did.
His eyes just drifted off.
No, it was, I think this was Saturday where it was pretty warm. It was kind of weirdly warm. And then I was trying to get my steps in because I haven't been walking at all. So I walked from, because I go to two different places for food. So my wife wanted some McAllister's. I was going to get some Kanta ramen. And then I was going to stop in between and grab a little something at Market Street. I go to like the grocery store 4 or 5 times a week.
I might
Because I'll be like,
yeah.
I forgot the oatmeal, and I'll go buy just that. Because
Yeah.
I don't have like a long giant list and then I'll forget. Oh man, I should have got a milk, and then I'll go. And I don't like, I don't like vegetables if they're from Kroger, so I'll go to Market Street or whatever. Anyway, so I'm walking around, trying to get more steps in the grocery store, even. And then there's a lady there with the things, got a little, table set up and everything, and she has
Sample time.
beer.
Mm-hmm.
And she wanted to know if I wanted a sample beer, like a small little cup of beer. And I'm like, no. And I was thinking that's weird, number one. What if I have this crazy, like Jake? I'm this dirty, dirty drunk that can't even stand the sight of beer. And if I smell a little bit, now I drink. Oh, I'll have a sip, and then now I'm buying a bottle, and now
Well, I mean, you're at the grocery store,
Well-
so it's available to you if you wanted it.
But then I thought this. Because over the years we have developed opinions that perhaps a gummy is better for you. It's safer, perhaps. I don't know. That whole thing. The whole, is THC better? Like if they were both starting from zero today, neither of them were legal, and they just had the lobbyists on both sides trying to pitch it, or, at least medical professionals. What would they say is better for you in the long run? I think it would not be alcohol.
I think that's pretty unanimous.
So that being said, as society's feelings change and I guess government decides they can actually make money on the lobbyists for pot and now we'll legalize it, all that kind of stuff, will I ever be in a grocery store and be offered a hit of the bowl?
Well, so...
Because I'm being offered a small amount of alcohol.
Yeah.
Would I be offered you want to
Well,
grab this gummy? This will make your shopping experience a little fun.
I am not here to shoot down your whole point, but the difference is that the tasting of the alcohol is to provide you, hey, this is what this tastes like, right? So that small amount,
because we're not going to get you where you want to go, which
not
is
even close. It probably wouldn't even,
the buzz or
you
whatever.
wouldn't blow a .01 or something. You're tasting it.
Yeah.
And while there are people that are
Sorry,
that
little
are
salmon.
cannabis connoisseurs to a point where the taste does matter to them, like a lot, for the most part, it's about the effect.
Dude, it's always your dealer.
Yeah, he's telling you.
This one, look at this, and this is
Yeah. Well,
purple kush.
I'm not sure how much it's going to matter because I'm going to put it in this pipe I haven't cleaned since 9th grade.
Yeah. But look at the hairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, hair? Okay, there's
probably
a
gonna
hair.
taste the same.
Do you want a hair? I guess you do. You
So
don't-
that's the thing is that
And it also matters with what you can drive on.
that's true too.
yeah,
I mean,
like, here's a 20 milligram gummy.
Yeah,
And
then
the
you're
Go
taste-
walk around. You can't get home.
Yeah,
just
so
for 2 hours.
Yeah, they don't give you. They're
Probably
not giving
not.
you a shot.
Moonshine.
Right.
Yeah.
So I doubt that. Although it's interesting to me, you can buy those CBD Delta 9 drinks now that if it says 5 milligrams, if you drink that whole thing, it feels exactly like taking 5 milligrams. And you can get those at any liquor store, but you can't get them at the grocery store.
I used to talk to you
Like
about
liquor.
the thought, because I had this thought even when my kids were babies, about alcohol and THC. And just the rite of passage for anybody is like sharing a beer with their dad or something like that, having a beer. Like, is in the future, would it be smoking a joint with your dad, or
I think that's kind of already happening.
that's a lot more common than it?
100%.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously knew guys growing up that we would smoke with their dad.
Well,
Or
those
like
were
in my
weird.
20s. It was weird. They
That
were
was
hippies.
Yeah.
But I do think it's becoming a little more common now. But it is still different because the effect is different.
Yeah.
Like, I've been hammered in front of my family,
Were there-
obviously, and I've seen them imbibe quite a bit, and I don't think I would ever want to be stoned in front of them.
Were there 20-somethings in the 80s just getting into cocaine thinking,
Come here, son.
in the future, yeah, will I... Until they decided, people started, like, dying from doing cocaine, and they discovered, maybe it's not great to use cocaine.
Anyways. the
Anyways,
Cowboys lost.
indeed. Yeah, should we do jump into sports and stuff?
Why not?
Do we sponsor this? Oh, how about Elite Rides DFW?
Oh, yeah, I like that.
Man, I'm jealous of y'all Friday.
It's
I don't know if we're getting an Elite Rides
we're gonna
this
do it soon.
Friday, but we're we got to schedule an Elite Rides DFW. That is, it's kind of like I don't know. Would you say it's like Von Lane, like Uber, but like better than all of them, and you just combine them?
Yeah, sure. We took
Premier
a
transportation solution.
So yeah, they've got a decked out SUV. They got a Tesla. They got the Sprinter van. We've heard from a number of listeners who have used them and had nothing but good things to say. 10 of 10 would recommend. Will use again. Call them at 844-RIDE-DFW. They're great for sporting events. Great for concerts. So if there's a big group you got going somewhere, heck, even if you're taking like a trip, I referenced this before that the guy told us he was taking a family to Galveston. If you got somewhere you're going out of town, an hour and a half, something like that, hit them up.
It's so comfortable.
Maybe you want to go on a little wine tour somewhere.
So
Hit 'em up.
clean, so wonderful. It's all decked out. Yeah, definitely going to a Cowboy game, going to a Mavs game or something. That's a big deal. Elite Rides DFW. Oh, prom.
Prom.
Good one.
Got a friend whose
That's a
daughter
great
is
one.
going to prom in
Little
that. Yeah.
homecoming type situations for
Yeah.
sure. Hit them up, eliterides-dfw.com, and use the promo code DZ15. You'll get 15% off your first ride. 844-RIDE-DFW or eliterides-dfw.com. Let them take care of you.
So, man, I'm looking at the box score after the game.
Yeah.
How can this be? 13 for 23, 45 yards passing.
Yeah. He got
For the game.
The sack yards didn't do him any favors, though. That's probably really what it was, right? No, he didn't push the ball down
He
the
got
field.
sacked once.
Then I made a bad point.
Yeah. Once for 10 yards. So, yeah, let's take that away.
Yeah.
And we've got 55 yards
That's tough.
passing. On that, on that drive? No. The game.
Yeah.
Every one of their drives, Cooper Rush could not throw the ball past 2 yards. And if he did, it was either wildly inaccurate or, well, it wasn't intercepted. He didn't have any silver lining.
Mm-hmm.
Cooper Rush takes care of
Unless it hits him in the...
did fumble twice, I think. Sack. Yeah, I guess that one sack was a sack fumble, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Where the ball bounced around and Terrence Steele thought he was going to pick it up and rumble for I don't know what he was thinking.
15 yards?
Isn't that like one of the first things they teach those offensive linemen if there's a fumble?
Yeah.
Like you fall on it,
Yeah.
not try to time it and pick it up. Like you're Terrence Steele. You're really not good at the blocking part, let alone the picking up the ball and running it part.
Yeah, it was a disaster. And as I referenced yesterday on the stream, his passing chart is hilarious. I don't think he had a single completion over 10 yards. He had one at 10 yards. Everything else was 5 or under. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those 13 completions behind the line of scrimmage. It's a funny looking chart. It's what they have, and I don't know. I feel like most people including the front office, deluded themselves into thinking that he was a really, really good backup because he won 4 games. But again, he did that with a great running game and an elite defense. He might be an average backup quarterback. I don't know, but he's definitely not one of the best ones. He's not last year Flacco even. He's just a...
And it wasn't like he was called in to... He didn't know he was going to... He got all the reps this week.
Got all the reps this week.
He's
been in the offense for multiple years.
Yeah.
So...
To look like that...
But the thing is, you could have expected it because Dak wasn't producing. The whole thing is so broken already as far as a lack of protection, a lack of creativity on offense, and a lack of a run game. Dak couldn't move the ball well. So it would be crazy to expect Cooper Rush to do the same. You know what? I almost think it's the same thing as what we saw last night with, like, the Lions, for example. The Lions have been winning big because Jared Goff has been okay. He really hadn't been that great. He's been fine. But when Jared Goff plays terrible, the Lions might only beat you barely. Mm-hmm. The Cowboys have a chance at playing competitively if Dak has an insanely good game. That's like their ceiling, is maybe we can stay in this. If you remove that and take Cooper Rush, they have no chance, not of winning, but of keeping the game close at all. Despite the fact that it was close at half, it never felt like they were anywhere close to taking the lead.
No, but it did, they were close at half. They were still close midway through the third quarter just because it was, this could have been one of those games you said, a division game and weird things happen in any given Sunday because, things started out kind of super positive, but, Micah's back and, all of a sudden they're pressuring Hurts. They're sacking him. 5 sacks in the first half of Jalen Hurts, which is huge.
Overshown was everywhere.
Overshown is everywhere. Lawson is showing that he might have something.
The Diggs pick.
But so they had an Overshown big sack, made it 3rd and 33, so they get the ball back. And then that's where Cooper Rush fumbled on the snap that hit him in the chest. He actually has it, in his hands on the ground, but he has it ripped away. Like he couldn't hold on, so that gives Philly the ball at the 17. And then,
they
it's
score immediately.
almost a given that they're going to score.
On the tush push.
The next drive out, I remember you yelling about this, like, what is he doing, Turpin, taking the kickoff out from like 8 yards deep in the end zone? But he got it out to the 41, and you're like, okay, here we go. Then the offense, of course. But then, Trayvon Diggs, awesome interception in the end zone. I suppose that's a little fool's gold, too, if you're trying to get excited about something, but they had driven down the field very easily to get to the end zone, and then you have it takes that unbelievable play. It was great. Then, yes, that big momentum shift with Diggs getting the ball for the Cowboys. The offense can manage 5 yards on that ensuing drive. They're averaging 2 yards per play up to that point, and I think that continued all game. Let's see here. I got... Oh, okay. How did the Cowboys get the ball down to 1st and goal from the 7 with 3.5 minutes left in the second quarter? So it's only 7-3. They could score and take the lead. And what do?
Zeke.
Let's bring in Zeke.
2 years ago, I remember looking at, everybody's talking about letting him go. The short yardage is going to fall apart. His short yardage yards per attempt, and first down success was the same or lower than Pollard's that year. He just got more chances. There was nothing that he did that made you think, oh, this is definitely better than Pollard.
Yeah, so somehow, let's see. Oh, okay. I'm trying to tell you that the first half wasn't you thought they could still win this game somehow, but you had to keep getting crazy plays. Zeke fumbles. And now Hurts fumbles. Micah back, sack, fumble. 1st and goal again. Let's go. All right, let's not make the same mistake we did. Wait, they brought Zeke back in to give him the next carry, and we all predicted it here on the stream. Because they're like, got to show him. Got to get back up there. Like, that was so ridiculous to bring him back in. So he runs for nothing. And then now you have...
Well, the next play was, he picked up 3. So it's 2nd and 3 from the 3, and this is the sun play.
Where CeeDee Lamb loses the ball in the sun. Now let's talk sun.
Okay.
I know we've got audio to go with it and everything, but the...
Quite a bit.
CeeDee, the point you made during the stream yesterday, you're like, it was a joke, but it was, hey, it is home field advantage in a sense. You know it's going to be there. You have dealt with this before. And what that means to me is I have played here so many times. I've dealt with this problem so many times. I know now how to work around it. I will not call a play that calls for a receiver to get the ball right there in the sun. I have a lot of plays. Some of them have the ball being thrown right there. I mean, I could do a running play. I could do this. I could do what. I got a million things. Let's not do that one. Now, I know there's options on every play, but still.
Well, I would say,
is,
but if you think about it, though, Ferguson and Lamb were both in the sun. You know how we were like, who's he throwing that ball to? Ferguson thought it was to him at first. So both the receivers
Alligator
there.
pulled his arms back.
So in minimum, what you want to do is use the sun as like a decoy space for the route and at least have somebody coming back across it on the other side of it, right? You can't have your high-low.
But was his thing, I'm throwing to CeeDee no matter what? I'm Cooper Rush, so I
Probably.
don't really.
Probably, and that's an indictment of their other receivers, of the play calling, whatever. But yeah.
You know what? I was writing notes during the game too. That's who I think their other receiver, like Cooper Rush. Somebody got open left. Oh, it was a free play late in the game. Later in the game, remember?
Yeah.
There was an offside. So Cooper Rush, free play. You could throw it past 2 yards. So he does, and he overthrows other receiver. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know it wasn't CeeDee Lamb, but my point is, that's what I think of the other receivers right now is. You're either CeeDee Lamb or you're an other receiver because nobody stands out as somebody you're worried about.
But yeah, back to the sun. It both can be true. That you'd like to think that there's some forethought into, all right, we're going into this. The sun's right there. We're not going to run both of our routes for our 2 best receivers in Ferguson and Lamb right to there and have Cooper kind of roll that way. But, you know what's even weirder than that? After they got that incompletion, they ran the ball on 3rd down. And I didn't pull this part, but Romo was like, all right, well, that tells me they're going for it on 4th down. Because they attempted a run play there, and no sooner than he was done with that sentence, Brandon Aubrey was out on the field tracing his steps. He's like, I guess you're going to make it 7-6 here?
Yeah.
From the 4?
Yeah.
So, yeah, they
Because they're like, well.
got to the 6 and turned it over, and then got the ball back at the 6 and got to the 3. Do you want to hear Jerry on the sun or no? Or should
Of
we
course.
wait? Okay. So this is interesting because first thing I do on my Monday morning is I want to go see Jerry on the Cowboys website. It's typically just home games, but they're pretty good about putting their stuff up. So this one was a little bit different because the video is about 13 minutes long, but it kind of changes settings a little bit about halfway through. The first 6 or 7, there's one camera angle, and then in the middle of it, there's a clear cut. And he starts talking again. Kind of in the same area of the stadium, bowels, I suppose, but it's different. And something had there was like a jump cut there. And I'm like, all right, well, I know he said this stuff about the stadium, and that wasn't in the cut, the 14 minutes on either side of it. So I'm like, all right,
Did you hear Sod?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Sod, okay, go ahead.
So I'm thinking, all right, well, they cut this out, or it was in a walk-off, and it's just not included. So I listened to the whole thing. I'm like, that's weird. So I hit up our friends, Sod and John Machota from the One Star podcast.
But Sod was saying on his podcast that, because I listened to it like late last night.
Okay, yeah, I have not heard their show yet.
Okay,
no.
but he said it was weird he thought that nobody really asked him about the sun during the thing, and Jerry offered up some comments on his own.
Yes.
is really
at 7
weird.
minutes, it's over.
Yeah.
And then Jerry is kind of in trail-off mode. He's actually walking away.
I think he's walking away, and he yelled over to them or
He
something?
yelled over to them, then they scurry back over, and after Sun Talk, we get another 7 minutes of the press conference.
Would have thought somebody would have brought up sun.
Okay, so my thought, I wrote this in the thing this morning, is for D Magazine.
But there were a lot more, like without the sun, you still.
Yeah, and I
got
think
drilled.
people are just tired of asking him about it because they know he never says anything different.
Yeah.
And how many times could you do that? So, yeah, let's see here. Yeah, I think I have this right. Hold, please. I should have been. There's so much audio, Dan.
There really is. If you want to hold it till Jerry audio.
No curtain. Here it is. I had to have no curtain talk and curtain talk cuts.
By the way, we know where the sun's going to be when we decide to flip the coin or not. So we do know where the damn sun's going to be and our own safety.
Why not put the curtains up? Why not mitigate that?
What?
The sun and CeeDee.
Well, let's just tear the damn stadium down and build another one. You're kidding me.
But it's not. You don't.
Everybody's got the same thing. Every team that comes in here has the same issues. They know where the sun's going to be. So every team has the same thing.
So is it more on Mike not understanding where the sun is and not?
I'm saying the world knows where the sun is.
All right, so
Dude, he's pissed at McCarthy. That was a good follow-up there.
Yeah.
I don't know who did that.
yeah, he definitely is. I'm not saying that, but the world.
So is it more on Mike not understanding where the sun is and not?
I'm saying the world knows where the sun is. We get to know that almost a year in advance. So someone asked me about the sun, and what about the sun? Where's the moon? But we're fine, but everybody plays in the sun out here.
Where's the moon?
Why is nobody talking about the moon? Where's the moon in this whole equation? Has anybody seen Ursa Major?
Dude.
These constellations.
He's
that are
pissed at McCarthy, though. That's why he offered that up. He's like, nobody ever asked me. I'm going to bring this up because I don't want to hear about this. McCarthy knew. When we did the coin flip, we knew. Like, when he was calling plays, he was basically, read between the lines there.
Yeah.
He was saying what we just said. You have other plays in the playbook. You don't have to call for two receivers to go right into the sun, and we'll throw it to one of them.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's been a problem seemingly for every play caller here, but you're right. And also, how reminiscent of a fight with your spouse or something is. Why don't we just tear the whole damn stadium down?
Right.
Then? Yeah. I guess if I'm that bad,
I feel like you're taking
You're projecting
a leap right there to
Yeah.
11. We're here at 2 here.
Yeah, maybe some.
We're saying a curtain. Yeah, I mean, literally during the soccer,
yeah,
they do put up the curtain. They have them.
Concerts.
They have the curtains.
Yeah, they're there.
It's not like they have to go buy them.
My last quick Sun thing here. This is funny because.
What about the moon?
Yeah. Has anybody asked the moon? Why are we not talking about the moon? So this is right after the Zeke fumble, but before they had gotten the ball back, which is where the Sun play occurred, right? So Zeke fumbles, they get the Philly gets the ball back, then they Parsons sack, etc. So this is coming back from a break, and they're doing what they do at Cowboy games. They're showing the end zone view from the ground. Just looks like God's light is pouring into the stadium. Jim Nantz is going to come.
These amazing shots with the sunshine bleeding through. All courtesy of Nationwide, as the Eagles will try to do a little business here in the last 3 minutes. DeJean with the recovery off the Elliott fumble.
I just thought that 15 seconds perfectly encapsulates everything about the Jerry Jones Cowboys. Nantz is like, that sun looks really cool. That sun looks awesome. All right, so we're going to try to see what we can do after the Zeke Elliott fumble. And 2 plays later, on offense anyways, the sun was a problem that forced a failed goal line possession. But Nantz loves it. Nantz sees the shots, and he's like, boy, that's beautiful. And, man, I went and found the either 2006 or 2007 Wall Street Journal article where Jerry's talking about the stadium. It's hilarious. Like just him, because he's talking about the architects that built it, and there was one quote in there. He actually says, "The stadium says technology," but they're marveling at it, and it's just really funny in hindsight.
Yes, everything's really funny about the Cowboys right now.
All
It kind of is. It's like they're comically bad.
Yeah.
They're comically
whether
bad
it's
now.
the ball hitting, whether it's the Cooper Rush snap was funny. CeeDee over on the sideline telling McCarthy, "I can't see it." Oh yeah, I guess I do have CeeDee as well.
With that play with you and Ferguson, a little bit of miscommunication.
Couldn't see the ball. Couldn't see the ball at all.
Are you in favor of
curtains? The sun. But
Are you in favor of curtains?
Yes, 1,000%.
Would you talk to Jerry about that?
I mean, y'all doing my job right now.
We got dissension. And he got paid.
We got more
so
of that
whatever.
coming. Yeah.
Right? Why not? We got problems in the room. Things are not going well.
I don't know how much more you really want to break down the game.
No, I mean, I was just a couple notes. After that, Steele didn't fall on it, and it's the fumble, free play. And the free play was right before that, where Cooper Rush missed receiver, not CeeDee.
Jalen Brooks, yeah.
Philly recovers at the Dallas 21. What's the score at that point? Still 20. Well, we're at 28-6. It was over for sure.
Yeah.
But we got a shot of the owner's suite. Without Jerry.
Mm-hmm.
Like he couldn't even bear to be there.
I don't recall them ever showing that if he's not there.
Yeah, because there's just this empty, it's like Aaron Rodgers' seat at the
on The Bachelor.
At the table. Like it's empty. Now a low-level scout was standing there. It was
yeah, I think I've seen him before.
Spalding.
Yeah, that's right.
Somehow got in there.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's
Boy.
plenty of times where he's not at his seat, but they just don't show it. This time they wanted to make a point with a little TV flair.
Dude, they couldn't even get garbage time stats because I had written down they had 45 yards after 3 quarters. They ended up with 49 yards passing.
Oh my God. Well, it was time for Trey Lance at that point.
Mm-hmm. Should we get into that now? Because that's part of the comedy here, man.
Yeah.
I mean, just from the origin of getting Trey Lance, the 4th round pick. He was the number 3 overall pick, and he can't beat out Cooper Rush for the backup. They've given him every opportunity to do so. So he can't even get in as the backup. Like every preseason game, they're giving him everything. Like, please show us something, anything.
I think
it really makes me wonder about Mike Shanahan. And
okay, but here's the thing about that,
Kyle, sorry.
So they made a mistake, the 49ers. Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, they made a mistake. They gave up a lot to go get him. But pretty quickly they realized they had made a mistake because he got hurt pretty quickly in his first year. He got hurt pretty quickly in his second year. And they liked what they had seen from Purdy, even in camp. So Purdy takes over for him and plays really well.
So he was in first, got hurt, and then Purdy came in?
Yes.
Yeah, he broke his ankle in
He had
week 1 or something like that.
No, there's no doubt his injuries have been a problem with his growth, but he had a shot to replace Jimmy. That's why they let Jimmy go.
So they already knew Purdy's pretty good. The rest of the league hasn't seen what we really know about Trey Lance.
Right. But hold on.
They've only seen him in a game or two.
Here's the other thing. Not only were they willing to admit that this guy is not our starter, they were willing to admit this guy is not a backup because they brought in Darnold to be their backup quarterback last year.
Yeah, because you could have had a cheap
Yes.
backup for 4 years.
He was your QB3 last year. He was not active for most games.
So they knew and weren't we wondering this aloud when
Yeah, and I mean, Darnold
they acquired him? Like,
Darnold's okay, right? I mean, I think you see yesterday that everybody that's been saying the Vikings are kind of paper tigers may be right. They're fine, but he's not a world beater. But still, he's a bad starter, good backup, Darnold. Trey Lance clearly was not that. So they're looking at it as you're definitely not the replacement for Jimmy. Purdy immediately leapfrogged you, despite being picked 256, or whatever the number is. We're going to bring in Darnold because we don't trust you to be the backup. And there's no way we're picking up your fifth-year option. Let's get on the phone. So the Cowboys, they give a fourth-round pick for – what is the point of this? He was never going to be Dak in waiting.
It was leverage against Dak.
They were always going to pay Dak, though. That's why I don't understand that.
They thought that could lower the price.
And it did.
Did it?
No, that's why this is a colossal fail.
So, as best I can tell, they gave up a fourth-round pick to have it confirmed by them with their own eyes that he's not any good. Because you could have figured out, well, they decided he's not any good. You also know you're not going to make him your starter, right? Because Dak's going to get paid and he's going to be the quarterback. What would make you think he could be the starter if he couldn't be the backup on a good team? So
you must have thought he's got to be better than Cooper Rush.
I guess, but then
he was the number 3 overall pick.
So let's say he's better than Cooper Rush. You still would have to pay him the going rate. He's a free agent, as is Cooper Rush this offseason, because his fifth-year option has already been declined. So let's say that he was good enough to be your backup and he's better than Cooper Rush. You're just going to have to pay him like a backup quarterback this offseason anyways. You could have just done that anyways. So you gave up a fourth-round pick. The best-case scenario is that he's good enough to be your backup, in which case you have to pay him like a capable backup, of which there are a dozen of those guys available every offseason. It is completely giving away a fourth-round pick.
Well,
even if he were good, it would be weird.
If Dak had not signed his deal, then you could say, okay, we're going to see if we want to bring Trey back, possibly as a starter or something. But now by signing Dak, there is no point in Trey Lance at all.
They were always going to do that, though.
But that I just think that was a way to push Dak.
A fourth-round pick given away for a smokescreen? Maybe.
Kinda.
They're like, look.
And then he bragged about
we're gonna scare
that
him.
He didn't ask anybody.
Yeah.
He just made the trade.
And I mean, that's to me why it's
those other
interesting.
GMs know who to call. They're like, let's call Jerry.
Yeah.
They did the same thing on the Mingo trade.
Yeah.
They could not believe what he gave up. I mean, to give the 49ers a little cover, that was during COVID, and Trey Lance didn't play. And so maybe they just thought there was a lot of upside there, and when they finally got their hands on him, they realized this guy's got nothing. But
got to give credit to the 49ers for
that's what I'm saying.
Eating that mistake and just getting out real quick, just because that's a lot. They gave up a lot of draft capital to get him.
Yeah.
And it's embarrassing.
And on paper,
to admit that, and they were like, yeah, whatever, we just want him out.
On paper, it made sense from watching the little bit of Trey Lance I saw in college. I'm like, this guy's going to be an animal in Shanahan's scheme. I get it. You're like, all right, just imagine like how Brock Purdy is now, but a little more athletic.
But then I guess when you get to deal with somebody day to day.
And he hadn't played that much in college. That was the other thing is Purdy played a lot. You know, Dak came into the league having played a lot. But you mentioned Jerry being the one who said, I made this deal for Lance. That's why I have no feel for what they're going to do the rest of the way there. The way I put it this morning.
Rest of the way this season?
Yeah, as far as quarterback goes. I don't know what any of the actors involved, I don't know what their motives are. I don't know what rationally they could be doing because Mike McCarthy knows he's not coming back. So does he say, well, I'm a competitor and Cooper Rush gives me the best chance to win? Damn it, we're playing Cooper Rush?
Jerry, okay, back to the Sun audio, and he's kind of pissed, and I think he's pissed at McCarthy. Like, we all know where the Sun is. Like, he's the one that brought it up to the media. So he was thinking about it. He's mad, and he knows that people, probably in his inner circle are even asking, yeah, what about that Sun, man? He's not going to fire McCarthy. He wants to fire McCarthy, but he's going to make him ride this out. Like, no way am I going to deal with this on my own. You get to talk to the media every week. You get to call plays. You get to add losses to your resume for when you're looking for a job this offseason. I'm not helping you out here. Like, firing him right now would help him out.
Yeah.
Mike McCarthy would love to not have to be at work this week.
I agree.
And get paid.
I also think that most of the people in the league that are going to evaluate McCarthy, one way or the other, they know what he is.
Right. They'll work this in. Yeah, they know the.
They'll say, like, look, you're working for Jerry. We see what that team is. No running game, no offensive line, Cooper Rush and Trey Lance. Now,
He'll get another job.
Maybe McCarthy looks at it and is like, you know what, screw it. I'm going to see if I can make this Trey Lance thing work. Just as a competitor, I'm an offensive guy. I got 8 games with this dude. Let's figure it out.
You might as well.
Let's see what we can do. It's going to be more exciting. I can promise you that.
Then Cooper Rush, you really know what you got there.
But on the flip side, is Jerry thinking, which one is he leaning? Is he saying Rush does give us a better chance to win, and we're not backing off that until there's a little E next to our name in the standings because crazier things have happened.
So you think Jerry would lean towards that more than starting Trey Lance?
I think both of them. That's what I'm saying.
If you start Trey Lance and he turns out to be kind of good, then Jerry can say, look, I made that Trey Lance trade.
Right.
But then you've got a guy that's you can't afford because he'll be a free agent. Let's say he shows something that he's a viable option at NFL quarterback, which I think there's very little chance of that.
Very little chance. And you also can't trade him, right, because he's free. That would have been a different deal too, Blake.
Yeah.
Is if you got him and it's like, all right, well, this guy's got 3 years. If he is good, we might be able to flip him for an upgrade.
Yeah, if there was another year on Lance's deal, this would be a different situation.
Right. It's like you have no opportunity to trade him. But, yeah, which one does Jerry want? There's also the fact that whichever one you think helps them win more also might hurt them overall.
For sure.
Because they need, like, a top 10 pick in the worst way. But Eric Kendricks, for example, should not be playing. Eric Kendricks played the 3rd most defensive snaps yesterday. He's 30 million years old. Thanks for stopping by. You should not be out there. Brandon Cooks should not come back. Whatever's going on with Brandon Cooks, just stay away. You should never play another down for this team. It's not his fault. Just is what it is. You got to see what you got in Tolbert and Brooks. Figure that out. Schoonmaker played 11 snaps yesterday. Your 2nd-round pick. I'm not saying you got to flip it with Ferguson because I think Ferguson has something, but you can't have that guy playing 11 snaps the rest of the way whenever none of these games matter. Awesome Richard should probably play more. He played for Guyton yesterday. Does he play for Steele more? Deron Bland should not step foot on the field again for the rest of the year. A foot with a corner that's already mysteriously a month longer than we were told it was going to be, just don't play.
What about Micah?
Well, you can't trade him. Which I never would, by the way.
He's in his negotiating year.
But what are you going to do? You're going to bench him? You're not going to bench a healthy 20-something-year-old.
You think Micah sits out next year?
Depends on who the coach is.
No, just as far as...
Yeah, he won't be at camp.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, he'll hold out.
Try
for
and
sure.
hold out is fine.
Will the Cowboys learn their lesson? Because they learned that CeeDee holding out damaged them.
Yeah. No, they won't.
Well... There's 2 ways you can talk about the Cowboys learning, and they're probably too far into this to now become the Steelers and be like, we don't pay holdouts, we don't renegotiate, you play your contract out and we pay you, and then we negotiate.
Yeah,
like,
no, that's the thing. Other agents know.
Other teams.
It's like
do that.
It's kind of like Dan's point always with Monica Lewinsky. It's like I know.
I know what you're capable of.
I gotta know what you do here. So you're saying the buck stops with me?
Yeah.
All of a sudden.
So if you're the Cowboys now,
I'll just wait it out. I know you're eyeing that cigar.
If we go back to Dez, Zeke,
yeah,
I don't know who else did it. I'm sure someone else did it in the past.
I mean, because the only reason Romo didn't is because he didn't have to.
Yeah, they've set it all up to where they're going to end up paying you.
Zach Martin.
Did he do a little holdout?
Yeah.
That's right, because it was like, oh, not Zach Martin.
Speaking of Zach Martin and Micah, here's the I guess somewhat Cowboy viral clip from Micah yesterday.
Mike's on the final year of his contract, so outside there's of course going to be questions. What's the sentiment inside the locker room, and what do you tell people who are wondering about whether McCarthy will be your coach next year?
That's above my pay grade about if Mike is coaching again next year. But all coaching aside, Mike can leave and go wherever he wants. But guys, I kind of feel bad for his guys like Zach Martin and guys who might be on their last year or on their way out. Because that's who I wanted to hold the trophy for. You want to win games and do great things with those type of legends who put in more time and work than Mike McCarthy ever did. So those are the kind of guys that I have so much sympathy and hurt for.
All right, so
Dang.
Okay, I just read this. And
I know the
had
message.
one opinion, but I think I'm.
The ending does not. The way he says it is.
Do great things with those type of legends who put in more time and work than Mike McCarthy ever did. So those are the kind of guys that I have so much sympathy and hurt for.
So
He does not respect McCarthy.
I do get what he's trying to say, which is that, these teams are fleeting and every team is different. And I love this group of guys. I wanted Zach Martin to get a chance. And I wanted, fill in the blank. Heck, he might even throw Zeke in there.
I think where he also started was with the premise of a coach their career can keep going another 10 or 20 years. This guy's career is almost over.
Yep.
But once he did this guy's put in more sweat than Mike McCarthy,
That's not good.
I don't think
he said ever has.
Ever has. Yeah. Here's the end.
Wow.
We might have a drop in here.
You guys were 2-2 when you got hurt. You're 3-6 now and seemingly well out of the playoff picture. How do you contend with the feeling that the season is lost?
Be the light. Even when it's dark as fuck. Light up, bro.
Wait, what did he?
He said, be the light. And then he said, even when it's dark as fuck, be the light, bro.
Be the light. Even when it's dark as fuck. Light up, bro.
Thank you.
Be the light, bro.
Is that Tad?
Is that Tad? Like,
thank
all right,
you.
we're done.
We're done.
Right, we got Micah going now.
Be the light. Even when it's dark as fuck. Light up, bro.
Thank you.
Boy, he is cutting that off before Micah really gets going. So is Micah kind of saying there, I'll still just go out and be great.
Yeah, I've got it.
But not much of a air quote team leader type statement. You would say this season is not lost.
No.
There are, if you're a team leader but Micah's still young.
And some guys just aren't that guy. I don't
Yeah.
care as long as he's destroying the pocket, and he is.
Yeah, Luka's not that guy, right?
Nah, maybe
know that
more, but he's not.
The team leader that he's going to say something that people, Kyrie has kind of taken that.
I don't think Luka would be laughing and cutting it up with a teammate when they're down by 30.
That is also true.
That's a bad look, man.
And he's probably not doing podcasts, having Devin Booker on during the season.
What about CeeDee after the game? Yucking it up?
Yeah.
On the field? Micah's probably exchanging a jersey. Or he's had some Eagles on his podcast, right?
Darius Slay.
Darius Slay.
Yes.
So, yeah, I think for the rest of the year, they've got to just basically – I mean, the thing is they suck. So, and their schedule's pretty difficult. So I don't know how much tanking you really have to do. But I personally would like to see them play Trey Lance just because it's kind of wild.
Yeah, it's something different.
Right. Run the option. Make him run. Who cares? What if he gets hurt? What are you going to do? Who cares?
Yeah, I mean, Zeke is still going to be active, I guess, which is a complete waste of everyone's time.
Why'd they bring Zeke back? Well, they sold a bunch of Zeke jerseys.
Hey, his dad says, prove he's washed. 10,000 on the spot.
Okay.
You don't need it, though, because Bitcoin's at like 85 right now.
Damn.
Is it really?
Yeah.
You going to
I
sell?
was going to bring that up in the weekend check.
It was like 60 last week, right? 2 weeks ago?
Trump, bud. He's big into crypto. Have fun with your crypto or whatever you're playing with.
Okay. I'll play with it I'll play with it.
Have a good time with your Bitcoin and your crypto.
Have a good time.
Will do. Let's go back to Trey Lance coming in for a minute.
Okay.
Just because I forgot, Blake, you had sent me some audio on this. This is the big man. Mike McCarthy's going to talk about that whole situation because it was really weird, wasn't it?
Yeah, so we see Trey Lance come in. He's in on first down and then second down, and then it's third and long, so they put Cooper Rush back in to throw a short pass. And
You're close to being correct.
Uh-oh.
So he runs for 4 yards.
Yeah, it was 28-6 when he went in.
So it's 2nd and 6.
Yes.
Right, it's 28-6. That's important. Next play, there's a holding call.
Yes. So
that makes it 2nd and 16. So,
okay.
Now you bring Cooper Rush back in.
All right.
So it was kind of like, wait, Trey Lance can't have a play that's over 10. Like,
you know who can, though?
Cooper Rush. Here's a guy that'll sling it around. All right, it didn't make sense, and I don't think McCarthy's answer makes sense either.
Tim Kalishaw, Dallas Morning News. What do you see for Trey Lance moving forward? I know he played very little, but in terms of starting games,
it's a good question. We're not there yet. We had a package for him. We wanted to get him into the flow of the game. Was the thought process coming in here? And then to get him in when we did. And then I took him out on the third down. Just
sorry.
To get him in when we did. And then I took him out on the third down. I just believe in reps. There's that third down segment there. Not that he couldn't run the plays. I didn't want to put him in there, something that he hadn't had a lot of reps in. So I put Cooper back in for that play after that. For third down we had the fumble, the turnover there. But it's something we'll obviously discuss tomorrow.
Okay, so it wasn't third down. You put him back in for second down, but it was second and long. And then you brought him in for 2nd and 16, and you know what Cooper Rush did? He threw to CeeDee at the line of scrimmage. Like, that was the play.
Chipping away 2 yards at a time.
And I believe that's when the next play was the free play was in there somewhere.
Free play, then the sack, fumble.
Then the fumble.
Yeah, it's really weird because I get the whole, he has a package, of course. His plays are going to be different. That's why he ran the ball on the first snap. But in the next series, on the next Cowboys possession, they stayed with Trey Lance, who immediately found himself in a 3rd and 14, and they didn't run Cooper Rush back out there. And then what does he mean? I believe in the reps, so I didn't want him to get the rep when it was going to be really hard. Well,
or
you believe in the rep because
he didn't get any third down reps in practice?
That's possible.
We gave him a lot of reps where he'd hand the ball off.
But they kept him out there for the third down 3 plays later.
We gave him the 2nd and 5 reps in practice.
Yeah, once it gets to 2nd and 15, he's out of the game. I hate his number, too, by the way. It's not working for me. I'm sure there have been some 19.
Yeah, it's not good.
Bernie Kosar is rolling over in his grave.
I was going to say, I know there's at least one great, but not good.
One great 19?
Yeah.
Johnny Unitas, right?
Is it you? Okay, well then there's
I think
two.
That's it.
I was thinking Bernie.
Oh, you were thinking Bernie. Okay.
Yeah.
Bernie's a great in your mind. Okay, good.
Yeah, I'm kind of a bit great, but I would have been a huge fan.
Oh, yeah. I love his coffee.
Yeah, I know you do. It just it doesn't look. He wore 5 in San Francisco, right?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, he just looks. He looks smaller. So yeah, Bernie is big and lumbering. You need 19.
Mm-hmm.
Trey Lance looks tiny.
Oh man.
Hey,
it's
what are you
only
gonna
halfway
do?
over, boys.
We're only halfway.
At halftime yesterday was halfway through the season.
Let me just give you one more piece of McCarthy since I just played him talking, and we only have one more cut. I think Blake titled this as a DallasCowboys.com redirect because we're talking about bad stuff.
And this is throughout your career, you have one of the best turnover ratios of any coach in NFL history. Is this the most?
Oh, I've never seen anything like this, David. I don't think even on teams that I was on as an assistant, I don't recall ever having back-to-back home games with 5 giveaways.
Let's keep talking about that.
Tommy Arsh, DallasCowboys.com. How would you assess Micah in his first game back from injury?
It's pretty good, man.
Micah's great.
Pretty good.
You got to bring it back to the positives. Like Brandon Aubrey.
Right?
Yeah.
Perfecto.
Once again, yeah, I was trying to think of the comp.
Simone Biles?
No. Not
Tiger
as far
Woods?
as... I like where you're going. But I just mean the... I was coming up with this, but I don't think it's quite right. It's something that you just don't need. Is it the great stereo system in the beater Pinto? Or the...
sure, okay.
I was thinking it's the... When I was in my 20s, I would see like an old guy in his late 70s or 80 with his old withery wife driving around in a hot sports car, a convertible. Like, they don't. I should be in that. Like, I would kick ass in it. I would do stuff, and they're like barely. They're driving to the
like what?
They're driving to Kroger, and then they're driving home and putting it away. Like, they're not doing anything. Like, I'm young. I'd be drinking. I'd be getting chicks in there. It'd be awesome. I could use that to its fullest potential. Like, it's being wasted with that guy driving it. Like, that's Brandon Aubrey. Like, what's the point of having Brandon Aubrey if you are a 5-12 team? I mean, certainly we can try to set the all-time record for longest field goal, but you've got this awesome thing that you're never going to be able to use, and you've got these good teams with, I'm not sure, it's a I'll make it or miss it type field goal kickers. Like,
the Falcons could have used him yesterday.
Oh, Young Ho.
49ers could have used him yesterday.
Broncos maybe if you
like Brandon Aubrey is this luxury.
Yeah.
Yeah. But next year he'll be kicking extra points after Travis Hunter touchdowns.
I wouldn't mind that.
And we'll be back in business.
Is there any chance Deion is the coach?
Yes.
No.
Oh, point counterpoint.
I do have a new name for you guys.
He's gonna select an established head coach.
Probably. Mike LaFleur. Got a bad rap.
Mike LaFleur, not Matt LaFleur.
No, but
who's Mike LaFleur?
The exact same guy. He was an offensive intern for the Browns in 2014.
Is he Matt LaFleur's brother?
Yeah. He was a Falcons offensive assistant in 2015 and 16. He was a 49ers pass game coordinator.
Where's he now?
The Rams offensive coordinator.
Oh.
Now he did
I
have
like what you've said so far.
He did have a brief dalliance as the OC of the Jets in 21 and 22. It's the only time he's full-time called plays, but he was also dealing with Zach Wilson.
Okay.
That team was very bad.
Okay.
We got
That's
a
a name
here.
that you want, not a name that you actually think they'd get.
No, I swear to God.
Because Ben Johnson, obviously a hot name.
That I think we have audio of this from the old days, bad radio days. I think I got to pull this up here to confirm. The Cowboys played the Titans in 2018. I believe it was the game that either made Jubb proclaim he would get the Mohawk. I think so. They got beat, and that's the year they made the Amari trade.
Sunday Night Football, Amari's first game.
It was his first game?
Yeah, he caught a touchdown.
Did they win?
No.
Okay. That year, because I was doing a lot of in-depth Cowboy stuff at that time, watching the Titans, I was obsessed with Matt LaFleur, who was a coordinator for 1 year for them, after being the coordinator for the Rams for 1 year in which he did not call plays, because McVay's always going to do that. He's been the coach of the Packers since then. Let's just keep the nepotism thing. You know the Joneses love that. Your brother was around. You're a Shanahan guy. You're kind of hot.
Is he kind of hot, too?
He's kind of hot. He's not as hot as his brother. I know what that's like.
So he might not look like enough of a football coach for Jerry.
That's also very possible, whereas Mike Vrabel does.
Yeah. But Jerry wants offense and slinging it around a little bit. We need that excitement.
Right.
I don't know if Vrabel exudes that.
Blake, I don't know what the timer was, what we were going for here, but we made it this far without him mentioning Belichick. I think that it's important. Like,
well,
I have an app that goes off and it's like 30 days, 60 days. Like you need to be reminded and rewarded on your progress.
I haven't even thought about adding Homelander as the head coach. Before we go to break, let's just mention Sean Kernan over there at DallasFinancialPlanner.net. He will help you plan those finances.
Help me with my money, Sean Kernan.
Like, yeah, if you've saved money in a 401k or IRA or 403b, I don't even know what that is, and you want to have more money and you want to not lose all your money, Sean can help you. He can help you with investments, retirement planning, overall tax efficiency, life insurance, long-term care insurance, avoiding putting all your money into a Cowboys will go 5-0 to start the season as an investment.
Yikes.
So he's great. He's great to work with. We're working with him too a little bit, me and the wife. And he wants you to know that he says if you happen to do my ad read today, don't make a huge deal about me being a veteran on Veterans Day.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
He said, I'm not really a hero no matter how much paperwork I told my soldiers to do. But he did get a high-quality free education at West Point and a guaranteed job upon graduation.
Just,
hashtag sacrifice, hashtag patriotism. So, yeah, support a veteran. Sean Kernan at DallasFinancialPlanner.net.
West Point, eh?
Let's take a break on the stream, and then we'll be back.
The Dumb Zone.